Spiritual PSA.
Well, what's up, girl, boy, friend, they, them? How y'all doing? Well, I hope. So, today I want to tell you all a story, and I was really on the fence about even talking about this as it does involve some very touchy topics, and it is something that for me is something I would rather not have to relive. But um, after some divinations, after some confirmations from spirit, I do feel like this is something that cannot be swept under the rug, and it is something that a lot of you all will be able to relate to. Okay. Whether you consider yourself a spiritualist of any kind, medium, an empath, or just someone with a big heart, I think there is something in this story that you will relate to. Um, However, I am going to really be driving home the point to people who are in the spiritual community and who have romantic relationships in the spiritual community. Do be advised that I will be discussing transsexuality, as the person I was involved with is trans identified. This is important to the story. However, I will not tolerate any trans discrimination in the comments. You will be reported and immediately blocked. For the purpose of the story, I am going to identify my partner as Slick. That's what we'll call him. Um, he is female to male transgender. Um, I will give another alias as the story progresses for another individual in the story. All right, so the key takeaways that I would like you all to gather from this story is, first of all, not to judge yourself if you've gone through anything similar, and don't let anyone else judge you. We are all humans having a human experience. If you are someone with feelings, if you are someone with a heart, it is very easy for you to end up in the situation that I found myself in at least once in your life, twice, maybe three times. However, just make sure that if you find yourself here, that you learn and evolve from the situation. The second takeaway: trust your intuition, your higher self, over everything that you are seeing, everything that you are hearing, and that you are experiencing. It will never be wrong. And lastly, everyone has damage, difficult childhoods, and hardships. None of this is your responsibility to fix. Okay? So let's get into it. I'm going to try to keep these as brief as possible. I don't want them to spill over into 50 parts. That's not what I'm here for. But let's just get into the story. So, September 5th, 2023, I met Slick on the heels of a very toxic breakup. I felt like the meeting with Slick was very divinely guided. There was a lot of synchronicities. There were a lot of instances in my life that coincided with the meeting of Slick. For example, um, at the time that I met him, like I said, was coming out of a breakup. And prior to meeting him or even being in the relationship that I was just coming out of, I was told that my person would not be on a dating app. I would not meet them there. However, I had downloaded this dating app, and within minutes of downloading it, Slick walks into my life. Okay, so the way that we met, I was working at a hotel bar, and Slick was staying or made reservations to stay at the hotel next door. The hotel that I worked at had 2 bars, one upstairs, one downstairs. I was scheduled to work downstairs, and like I said, Slick was supposed to be at the hotel next door. Because Slick did not think that he would be allowed to come to the hotel bar without being a customer of the hotel, he decided to instead book at my hotel. And just earlier that day, my manager had texted me to ask if I could work the rooftop bar instead of the downstairs bar, and I agreed. So upon meeting one another, we instantly clicked. We instantly hit it off. Again, I felt like it was divinely guided because A, we weren't supposed to be there, and B, I was told that my person wouldn't be on the dating app. As soon as I download the dating app, he walks into my life. Our conversation instantly turned quite spiritual and we clicked. I don't give out my personal number to anyone, but for whatever reason, I felt compelled. And within the first conversation that we had outside of our initial meeting, everything just seemed so perfect. And I can say that after that first conversation, I just instantly felt like I love this person. And Slick says that he also felt the same way. So at the time, I was living still with my ex and trying to get my new place. And I was experiencing a lot of psychological abuse on the way out of that relationship while I was still in that household. And Slick provided for me peace. Okay. He allowed me to come to his place and bring my child, Hazel, my puppy, and create a safe place for my mind and a safe space. In that time that we met, we did so much together. We were going out every day. We were going out to the river, going on walks, and it just was so refreshing. That's the word that we use to describe what we were experiencing with each other. So everything seemingly is peaches and cream. Everything's lovely. Okay. We're having a great time. We're enjoying each other, so on and so forth. He's already telling me that he loves me after this first conversation. And even though I'm feeling similarly, I don't say it because I am reluctant. Why am I reluctant? Because I've been in several narcissistic connections and I felt like this was very love bombing. Okay. Moving forward, it is imperative that I mention to you at this point that this is new. Everything is still new. We're still in the beginning of the connection. And he's letting me know that there is someone in his picture. This person who's in his picture is a cisgendered male. We're going to call this man Jay. So according to Slim, Jay has apparently ghosted, and he's so grateful to Jay for ghosting him because if it wasn't for that, he would not have had the opportunity to meet and entertain the connection that we are forming. So he's very happy that Jay has ghosted him. Okay. Like, share for part 2. We're moving on to part 2. Go to the next video.
Spiritual service announcement.
Right. So in a new relationship, we're not officially together yet, but we're doing new relationship things, that including going to get tested. Okay, so we go to the clinic, we both get tested, we both are negative. Okay, October 5th, 2023, We go out to eat at this really nice Mexican restaurant, really upscale Mexican restaurant. And on this night, he asked me to officially be his girlfriend. I agree. Things are great. The next day, he then goes and has a conversation with Jay that apparently needed to be face to face to let him know that he now has this new situation and this is why they can't link up and etc. so on and so forth. According to him, Jay cries and it's a whole emotional situation and he's also in tears, whatever. But overall, it's a great conversation. He feels like it ended peacefully. So we continue on with our new relationship and enjoying each other as people do when they're in new relationships. And I would say maybe like a month into it, he starts saying that I have a smell. And matter of fact, it wasn't even a whole month. The very first time that he said it, it was Friday the 13th. This was maybe a couple weeks later. On this very same day, Friday the 13th, the first time that he body shames me, he gets hit by a car. Before getting hit by this car, I felt this overwhelming urge to tell him to be careful. So I texted him that when he let me know that he was on his way home. He said when he read it, he felt like it was more than just a casual be careful. It felt like a warning to him. Soon as he gets ready to walk to his apartment, which is about a mile from the gas station that he works at, he gets hit stepping off the curb. Now, it didn't occur to me until today when I was rereading the text messages for this video that the very first time that he acts out of character or tries to shame me or body shame me, he gets hit by a car. And I was like, okay. All right. So, he's okay. He calls me. My coworker answers the phone. My coworker's like, our bae's on the phone. I answer. I'm like, what's up? Like, why you call me at work? What's up? Because he don't normally call me when he knows I'm working. I work at a bar. I'm a bartender. So he was like, baby, I just got hit. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, what? What? You got hit by a car? Like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I'm fine. Whatever. He's like, I'm about to come over there. So he comes to the bar. I examine him. Of course, I pour him up. Like, this is some wild shit. You got hit by a car, bro. It's crazy, like crazy. But moving on past this, he's fine. X-rays are fine. Everything's good. But shortly after that, we're like still having these very nasty conversations. Like we're still, doing whatever we do, whatever. But then he brings it up again and he says that I have a smell. He's like, have you ever considered like maybe going to get checked? Mind you, we just came from the clinic. We both were just negative. Okay, we both, did the things. So I'm not thinking that it was anything serious. And I'm like, well, if anything, it's probably just like BV or something. I don't have any yeast. I know what yeast looks like. Like, I'll do my televisits through my insurance. And I did that and told them the, symptoms of BV, and they gave me some medication. I did some pH strips. The pH was slightly off. It was slightly higher than it was supposed to be. So I took the medication. I monitored with the pH strips. Everything went back to normal. Things were great. We went back to fucking. I would say a few weeks after that, he starts saying again, I smell a smell. he gets to the point where he doesn't even want to touch me. Like, he's not dealing with me at all, whatever. And his birthday weekend is actually, coming up now. So, like, during his birthday weekend, I had all these things planned. I took him to a very expensive dinner. I took him to a jazz show and all of this. And the day after we go to the escape room, I'm like, well, today I'm going to take you to Dave and Buster's and we're going to just hang out. But first, let's go to this urgent care and I'm going to get tested just to see like what's going on. I get some medication, then we'll go turn up. Go to the urgent care. They test me for the BV. They come back and say it's not BV. And I'm like, well, I thought I just had BV. I took some medication. It left and it came back. Mind you, there's nobody else in my picture. I hate my ex. Would never spin the block with that bitch. So haven't been with anyone but him. They say it's not BV. They say we're gonna test you for trick. I'm like, trick? Okay. Now I've never had trick. I didn't know too much about trick. But when it comes back, they tell me I have trick. And I'm like, how? I'm like, how is it possible for me to get it from, like a toilet seat? I work at a bar that only has one bathroom for each, gender. There's been some backsplash or whatever from the toilet water. I'm like, is that a possibility? They're like, it's not likely. It's usually only transmitted through sex. So I'm texting him while he's waiting in the waiting room. And I'm like, I have trick. And he immediately sends me all the ways that I could have possibly got it that don't involve sex, screenshots from Google. And says, I had a feeling that it might have been that. Now, why would you just have a feeling that I just might have had trick of all the things that I could possibly have? Why would that be the thing that you suspect? Unless you already knew. This is why he started with I smell something. Oh, you probably should go get checked out. This MFer got trick from Jay or whoever else he was messing with. I don't know how many other people he was messing with. Got rid of the trick after giving it to me. And then started body shaming me so that I would not want to have sex with him, knowing that he was now clean and I wasn't. Like, share for part 3.
Spiritual public service announcement.
And that is not even the worst part. This is where it actually starts getting quite nefarious. So instead of just taking accountability and saying like, look, I fucked up, I spun the block, I did this thing, he starts gaslighting me into believing that the clinic must have messed up and I must have had it all along. And I must have just gotten a false negative. And I probably got this from my ex. My ex and I hadn't been having sex for months before we broke up. So the likelihood was very slim. However, I'm like not wanting to believe that this person who I believe to be my counterpart, so divinely guided into my life, would immediately be so trash. But that was indeed the case. He gaslit me into believing that there had to be some other solution. He tried to guilt me using this Darvo technique. I don't know if y'all ever heard that, but basically it's where The narcissist reverses the roles of, victim and, the aggressor, the person causing the issues. So basically making themselves the victim. And that's essentially what he did. When I came out of the clinic, I walked straight up to him. I said, let's go outside. And I said, I have an STI. How do I have an STI? I was like, what you do? You accusing me? Oh, that's so messed up that you accuse me. I just knew that you would just come out here and just, like, you're not even giving me a chance to feel. Like, I'm not even getting a chance to feel. How do you think I feel? How do I think you feel that I have an STI? So he's already trying to spin it, flip it, like maybe I stepped out. We just started talking. I'm not a cheater. I was single when you met me and I could have stayed that way. That's neither here nor there. So he wants to, Dave and Buster's is out. We just go home. And he's just like, I'm crying. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. And I'm like, what you mean you don't know what to think? So he's already trying to flip it like I did something. The reason why I have a test when I enter a relationship and when I leave in a relationship is because I don't cheat. And because if something like this were to happen, I know exactly who to blame. At this point, we're living together. I know shit went real fast between us, but he got evicted. He needed somewhere to live. I knew that his family members, his mother and father, misgendered him frequently. And my immediate thought was him going to live back at home would be a prison to him, especially since, he is trans and they don't respect his trans identity. So immediate empathy, which I'm sure as a narcissist he expected. So at this point, we are living together. And I'm just crying and trying to figure out, like, how the hell did this happen? And he's trying to make it seem like I stepped out. And he's like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know. You're not giving me a chance to feel. And what about me? Trying to make himself the victim. But according to him, he don't have it now. He's never had it at any point. Like, it's not in his bill of health. But I miraculously somehow caught it. Any explanation I tried to give him, as far as maybe it came from his strap, his sex toy, maybe it came from the harness, maybe it came from, like, I don't know, the toilets at my job, like anything I tried to give him, he was like, nope, it couldn't be that. So even on his end, when I tried to give him an out, he never took it. He never took the out. So it just gets to a point where the next day is this jazz concert for his birthday. And we're going to go to it anyways because I paid like $100 a ticket or like $50 a ticket, something like that. It was over $100 for us to go to this thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to waste my money. So we're going to go, we get dressed, whatever. I am still in shambles. I'm in confusion, trying to figure out how the hell this happened. And I'm coming out of the bathroom in my dress, and he has his fucking camera in my face. Say cheese, baby. Do you think I'm in the mood for cheese, for smiles and happiness? I don't even want to go to this. And you got a camera in my face? What in the narcissism? Because that is definitely something that narcs do. They like to see you, catch you fucked up. And that's exactly what he did. I opened the door, camera in my face. on the way there in the Uber, can you just smile? Can you just try to make the best of it? Can you just try to have a good time? Whole time in my head, I'm like, did this motherfucker give me a STI? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm spinning 1,055,000 fucking ideas. And he wants me to just smile and be happy and have a good time because it's his birthday. We go to the show, we enjoy the show, whatever, we come home. But for the next 3 days, I'm in absolute shambles. I'm crying. I am tore up, looking a mess, looking like everything I'm going through. And my higher self brings to my attention his reaction to my tears. It said, look at how he's comforting you. He's not. Look at how he's responding to your trauma, to what you're going through. He's not. He's completely unfazed, completely unbothered. And then they brought to my attention a text message I saw as he tried to show me something on his phone one day. It was from Jay. That text message said, when can I see you? Now, this is somebody you were supposed to cut off. Why on God's green would he ever be asking when, as if he knew that he could? Not can I see you? Would it be possible for me to see you? But when? Like, when can you get away from her? When can I pull up? When will she not be home? They also brought to my attention when I came home and I saw boot prints on my white rugs in my bathroom. I thought it was maintenance. He claimed, Slick claimed that maintenance never came while he was there and he don't know anything about no boot prints. But yet boot prints were there. So it's starting to look like not only are you cheating on me, but you've had this man in my house. Like and share for part 3, please. Thank you.
Spiritual public service announcement.
So part 4. At this point, he's had this guy in my house. Probably bitches in my house too. Who knows? And of course, it doesn't get any better from here. The body shaming continues, even though, the situation was resolved. But now he's just not wanting to be intimate with me for no reason at all. He's just not doing it. He makes excuses. He's saying that he's not, he's tired from working so much. Just all these excuses. And most likely he's just tired from fucking everybody else. So he says that, he just be tired or whatever. Arguments continue. And I find that I'm crying in this relationship a lot more than I'm smiling, than I'm laughing, than I am happy. And I started crying in the bed next to him one day, and he doesn't respond. He doesn't even care. And I talk to him and I tell him, literally everything that you're doing to me is the same things that I've experienced in the past with other narcissists. Well, with narcissists, it's mimicking the narcissistic connections that that I've experienced, the one that that I just left. And his response is one that seems very emotionally intelligent. He listens to every point that I'm making. He responds to every point that I've made empathetically and makes me feel like, there's still hope, that he does care, etc., so on and so forth. But of course, this is just a ploy. This is just a bullshit, whatever, to get, I don't know. I don't know what the motive is behind this. Like, but I guess just to soothe the situation and make me feel like all is okay. Make me feel like he hasn't been found out, because I don't do narcissism. I don't do narcissists. So, I guess at this point, he figures if she has figured me out, then I'm probably about to get kicked out soon as well. So I guess that was his reasoning for like smoothing everything over, and then things are fine for a little while. But of course, the narcissist can't keep that mask on too long, and he just goes right back into making me feel like shit. But while I'm experiencing this, my higher self taps back in and identifies as the observer. Like, this is, gaslighting. He is manipulating you. We've had several arguments after this STI situation where this STI has been the focal point of the argument, but it is treated in a way like I did something to him by contracting it, and not like he's the problem for giving it to me, because he still denies that he did. He even went as far as saying that if I got it from my ex, then it's my fault, because I should have left that abusive relationship before I contracted it. So he went from body shaming to victim blaming, on top of all the other shitty behaviors, the discarding, the devaluing that he had been doing. Now, this whole time, my higher self is pointing out all the toxicities, all the disgusting behaviors. And even as we're sitting in my living room having this discussion where I'm profusely trying to defend myself, saying, I didn't cheat, I didn't cheat, I didn't cheat. And he finally is like, I know you didn't cheat. I don't think you did, whatever. But you didn't consider my feelings. You didn't consider how this makes me feel. And he always centered himself in this situation where he allegedly never had an STD, and he never got it from me, because it was the other way around. But he centered himself in this. And even in that, it's like, if the belief is that my ex gave me this, you are showing me no empathy. You know that relationship was abusive. And before it was a relationship, it was a 10-year friendship. And I expressed to him that I feel like she victimized me twice. I moved on to another relationship, and now I'm still feeling the effects of that relationship, because I was under the belief that maybe she did give me something. I was just so in a state of illusion. Like, the confusion was so strong in this situation. And it wasn't until the end, it wasn't until closer to the end, that his mask slipped so completely that I started beginning to see clearer. I had to start telling myself, sis, like, this is a narcissist. If he has narcissistic behaviors, he's a narcissist. My best friend was telling me, like, I know that you love him. I know that, you thought he was it, but all of these behaviors are narcissistic. You know these behaviors. You've experienced them. You've, left situations because of them. And now, because he is supposed to be your person, you are tolerating it for longer than you should. And that's one of the lessons that I feel like a lot of spiritualists or people who just follow a spiritual path or have spiritual beliefs should definitely embrace. And it's something that, while I knew, I wasn't fully embracing. No matter how much you think someone is your twin flame, your soulmate, your divine counterpart, if the shit is toxic, leave it where it's at. I'm not going to say that the person is or isn't, because I do believe that he was supposed to be. But I also believe that he voided the soul contract by, choosing to do something contrary to what was stated in the contract. But it wasn't healthy. So one of the lessons that my spirit team brought to me was that we have to release belief systems in favor. We have to release belief systems if they are harmful. Even if our belief in that system is super strong. If your twin flame is harming you, if your soulmate is abusing you, if your divine counterpart is cheating on you and making you feel less than an emperor or an empress, then you have to release them. You have to let them go. Leave them where they stand. Like and share for the next part.
Spiritual public service announcement.
So, no matter what you believe your connection, the connection that you find yourself in to be, the lesson has to be that if it's abusive, let it go. If it's a soulmate, twin flame, whatever the situation, if it's abusive, let it go. Sometimes what we feel so divinely guided to ends up being a lesson. But also, two things can be true. This could be your soulmate and also a lesson. That doesn't mean that you have to remain in that situation. So for me, the lesson here was to always trust your discernment, your intuition, and your higher self over all that you experience, that you feel, that you're going through. Because throughout this whole situation, my higher self was present, guiding my attention to all the lies, to all the tactics, to the inconsistencies within the experience. So the way that things conclude for myself and Slick is after several arguments in, constantly trying to prove my innocence in the situation, I just got tired. Like, I left my ex before Slick because I wanted peace, and Slick presented as if he was healed and as if he was an agent of peace and not an agent of chaos. But of course, he brought chaos into my home. So I ended up giving him a 21-day notice to get out of my house. And this was an email, okay? Gave him what was legally required, the 21-day notice, and he texted me from work asking what email did I send it to. I told him which email it was, and I swear, like, I instantly felt his stomach drop. I felt what he was feeling when he saw that email. Slick is very cavalier, very arrogant, and I don't think that he believed that I would not choose myself. I think that he thought that my love for him would supersede the love I have for myself. Upon receiving this 21-day notice, he proceeds to go get his nose pierced, his tongue pierced, get a tattoo, go out of town on a trip with whoever, knowing that the cat that we adopted together, that he was supposed to be taking with him when he left, didn't have food. He completely neglected the cat, didn't clean her litter box ever, and just like shirked any responsibility. I told him prior to this email that he didn't even have to pay me. Just save your money, get out. And that's what he proceeds to do with the money, to just spend it frivolously. So when he comes back from this trip that he went on, which prior to, he was being very mean to me when I asked if he was going out of town, when he would come back. I mean, you're coming and going from my house. I think I have the right to know. But he was just like being really rude, telling me like it's none of my business. Why do I care? Just being very childish. Or he would give me the silent treatment, another narcissistic device. And so I'm just like, whatever. When he gets back, he wants to have a conversation with me. So he's in the kitchen and he cooks some food. And then he comes upstairs and he kneels down beside my bed and he says, "How much more time are you willing to give me?" 21 days is approaching. My response was, why would I give you any more time to interrupt my peace? Well, you were talking about giving me time before, when I wanted to have a peaceful breakup, before you started being rude to me, being mean to me, giving me the silent treatment, and treating me like shit. Now I just want you out. So he just snatches up his stuff and runs off downstairs and I guess goes to sleep on the couch, where he has been since we broke up. When the 21 days rolls around, all his stuff is gone. He has only a few little bits and pieces left. He finishes moving out while I'm at work and leaves my key under the mat. I came home to find that he actually left the cat, and I was very happy to see that because I was very concerned for her well-being had he taken her. So I guess all's well that ends well. All's well that ends well. We got to keep the cat. Happy family over here. After he left, I did send him a text message just letting him know that I know that you did this to me, that you did this to us. And I think that it was pretty fucked up. And then I blocked him, never to be seen or heard from again. In retrospect, I feel like I need to give gratitude to the universe, to my spirit team, to my ancestors for the lessons. This was most certainly a lesson in self-love and self-care and standing on business, because that definitely needs to be the energy that any divine one, any empress, emperor, high priest, or priestess needs to be in. There's always going to be these energies who want to attach to you, who want to destroy you, who want to tear you down, who want to suck your lights out of you. They want to take you off course. They want to take you off your path. And divine ones, our purpose is way too important. It's way too important to get caught up and pushed out of our purpose. Since he has been removed from my life. So many beautiful things have happened for me, and I've accomplished so many things that I realize I never would have accomplished had he still been a part of my life. Also, I realized that the lessons that I learned, the discernment, sharpening, the intuition that I needed to trust and maybe even further develop for my position in the spiritual world, like I wouldn't have gotten it without this trial. Sometimes we have to be pushed deeper into our gifts, pushed deeper into our purpose. And I feel like, and don't tell them I said this, narcissists are very important to our spiritual path for that reason. We have to go through trials, tribulations. We have to overcome toxicity to be better. I know it feels wrong and it may feel counterintuitive, but it works. And it's, in my opinion, these people are like human tower moments for us that push us into our evolution. So, gratitude to Slick and all the bullshit that you put me through. And just know that all the greatness I'm about to accomplish is in part because of you, boo. So thank you for being trash. That's all. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that this helps somebody. Bye.